While working from home has its advantages, it poses a huge security concern for the IT team to ensure all the users can do their tasks in a safe and secure environment. It is impossible for an IT team to set up individual firewalls and controls for end users' machines. So, what do? They ask us to set up long and complicated passwords to even log into the machine. But we end up setting up passwords that are so complicated that we forget the passwords. So we again reach out to our IT team and follow the same process all over again. Why does being safe and secure mean it has to be complicated? Can we have an easy way to log into the machine securely and not have it complicated? Hello, I am your host for today. My name is Ranjeet, a senior solution consultant in LogMeIn. In any organization, employees understand the need for security, but they expect technology to be simple, convenient, and fast. And in a world where poor passwords can cause 80% of data breaches, a long password alone will not protect your business. How can you ensure critical information or login is secure without adding friction for your users? Two-factor authentication is a great starting point, but a one-size-fits-all authentication approach does not really work. So today, I will be talking about LastPass's multi-factor authentication and how it protects your users with a secure biometric authentication while simplifying the login experience for your employees. What is multi-factor authentication? Multi-factor authentication was developed to add an additional security check in place with 3 points in mind. Something you know, a knowledge factor, in this case, technically a password, something you have, a possession factor. This would be a physical device like a phone or a security fob. And the third thing is something you are, an inheritance factor. This would be something that defines who you are, like a fingerprint, a face, or a voice. So, what makes LastPass MFA different? While there are multiple tools in the market, LastPass MFA, rather than just being another factor of authentication to log in to a machine or a cloud application, provides the end user with the capability to ensure you are who you are coming from the right place and at the right time, and alert the user if something seems out of place. LastPass multi-factor authentication comes built in with policies that allow controls such as geolocking, time-based restriction, and many more policies across the organization for cloud applications assigned either individually or across the group. It also brings in contextual intelligence of the call being made. As an end user, you will not just get a push notification with an accept option, but now LastPass will look at hidden factors such as IP address, hardware signature, and geolocation of the user. And finally, you can now go passwordless on your workstation as well. Now, with LastPass MFA allowing you to log into your workstation without you having to enter the password, making it more secure for the business, yet simple for an end user. Let's now take a quick look at the admin center and then the end user look and feel. Now, what we are basically looking at is the multi-factor authentication dashboard. Now, the dashboard provides the administrator the ability to see the list of users who are online, the successful authentications in the authentication that either failed because the user did not approve within the given time limit, or the authentication that were rejected because of the following policies. Some of them include geofencing, some of them includes IP restriction, and some of them includes time-based. Now, why would I set up a multi-factor authentication for a geofence location? And where would I set it up? So there are two different places on which you can actually set it up. The first one is for your single sign-on applications. Using LastPass, you can actually set up SSO for more than 1200 odd apps. For any app that supports SAML 2.0 and above, you can set up a single sign-on. And it's not just logging into the application, it's the added security. So you can set up a single sign-on application with the multi-factor authentication, and over and above which, you can also set up a workstation login where a user can actually log into his machine without a password. Now, for all these users who are logging into the cloud applications, you can actually set up multiple types of controls. That includes your geofencing, your IP restriction, and a time-based access. So when I set up a geofencing, I can basically set up a virtual fence across a particular location, either a green zone or a red zone where I can either allow user or disallow user. I can get granular with the IP address range where I can set up different IP addresses and control or discontrol the users. And finally, when I'm setting up policies with respect to certain applications, I can also use a combination of them along with the time-based access. And when I'm providing these access for users, I can choose it either to be a permanent access, or I can also choose it to be a temporary one. Now, in this particular case, let's look at a scenario where I have a user's account in which I want a user to log in through a single sign-on, but let's set up a condition where the user has to go through multi-factor authentication. So right now, I am logged in as an end user, and this is where I have all my single sign-on applications show up right up here. Now, in this particular page, what I can actually do is I can log in to any of my applications by just clicking on the button using the single sign-on feature without having to go password. When I click on a particular application, before we log into the application, this is where we add the additional layer of security. Now, unlike most of the multi-factor authentication, as I mentioned, LastPass is different because LastPass not only gives you the basic ID of the user. In this particular case, it shows you how long the user basically has on the system before he logs off. It also shows where the user is coming from. It also highlights the IP address and the geolocation. So basically, we look at three primary things: the hardware signature, we look at the IP address, and also the location before we approve. And this call is timed at 60 seconds. So if the user does not give an approval within 60 seconds, the call will automatically end. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to approve this with my fingerprint, of course, but you can also add additional factors, which could either be your face or a unique pattern. Now, once I add this particular scenario, the tool will automatically log me in. Now, this is where LastPass works with the added security of your single sign-on application to allow a user to log in with the LastPass multi-factor authentication. As mentioned earlier, LogMeIn LastPass also provides you multi-factor authentication to log into a machine. Now, instead of a user logging into the machine by clicking on the user, entering the username and password, LastPass can be installed on the end user machine where it's going to provide the user with a new login option out here. And now this login option right out here will allow user to basically log into the application without having to enter any username and password. So this is where the passwordless approach comes into the picture. So let's take an example of what happens when the user clicks on this particular account. Now, as you can notice, as soon as the user clicks on this particular notification, a notification is sent across to the end user's mobile device. This is someone you know or someone you have, mobile device. And this basically allows a user to actually log in to the particular machine without entering the password. A couple of things that you'll also notice right out here is that it actually has the location. Now, this is my virtual machine, so it's perfectly fine. And I know for a fact it's coming from the same device at the same time, and it gives you a complete overview of everything that you need to know. Now, once the user gets to know who the right person is, he can click on Approve, move to the next thing, which is the fingerprint authentication or a face ID or a voice that can be added to the user's account. Now, as soon as I do that, basically the user gets to log in and he's in that particular system. As a quick recap, we saw how LastPass MFA policies allow you to lock a cloud application into a geolocation, an IP address range, or even a time-based login. We also saw how the LastPass MFA gives the end user contextual knowledge of the call being made, along with the notification of anything that might be out of base. And finally, you now have one tool to additionally add security for any cloud-based single sign-on applications or a workstation login. No more the need for an IT to worry about your password security, and no more the need for you to remember complicated passwords, or worse, reach out to your IT to reset your password. That concludes our session today. If you have further questions about LastPass, please review our previous Mastery Moments videos. Also, you can refer to the learning resource available in the LogMeIn Partner Exchange portal or contact your assigned LogMeIn Territory Channel Manager for any technical queries. We hope you found this Mastery Moments episode useful. If you did, please click the like button and consider subscribing. If you also click on the bell icon, you will be notified about our upcoming sessions so you do not miss out on our future Mastery Moment episodes. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you in the next episode. This is Ranjeet Money signing off.